Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Black Girls Bonding. It's your host, Keonti, and as usual, I am so excited to be in community with you today. As you know, I like to start each episode with how I'm feeling, and I'm feeling really good, y'all. You know, the internet fodder is saying that summer is over, and I'm here to say it is not. We are in August. We have a whole month. A little over a month left of summer, right? So let's enjoy it. I was reflecting on how a lot of people who live in Europe or like to pretend like they live in Europe take the entire month of August off. And I'm like, how can I channel some of that summer energy into my life? I'm not taking any vacations, at least that I know of. I'm open to surprises, but I'm trying to create little splashes of vacation in my life. So if y'all have ideas about that, let me know. But let's stop saying summer's over. It's not. We still got time left, okay? All right. Okay, so what I want to talk to you about today is a little deep, and it may stir some emotions. It stirred some emotions in me as I was writing it. So we've been sold the story that readiness is a destination, that there's a version of us that's just around the corner who finally has it all together, who has all their shit figured out and just needs to plug in and go. But what we're going to talk about kind of challenges that in a way, right? I'm not going to come at you with the just do it motivational story. That's not who I am. But I just want to talk in a real kitchen talk way about that, about how sometimes we can use readiness as an excuse to not do the thing that we want to do, right? We use readiness because we're fearful. We're perfectionists, and we're looking for some ready-made version of ourselves, of the thing, in order to get going. So I want to talk to us a little bit about that today. So I'm going to give myself as an example, as I often do, and let's kick it Golden Girl style, okay? Picture this, 2017, Atlanta. It's the summer. It's hot. There's a lot going on. Now, at this point in my life, I had just started really getting into podcasts. Shout out to The Read, because that's the very first podcast I listened to, and it's still one of my favorites. Anywho, I was really into that, and I was like, the idea just kind of sparked in my mind, oh, maybe I can do this. Now, I said summer 2017, right, y'all? Y'all heard that? Okay. This show, just for reference, launched in the summer of 2023. So, again, readiness was a huge hurdle for me. So I was in a really big transition period in my life. They were all really good things, but it was a lot of change. I had just moved to Atlanta. I was living with a man for the very first time. It was my boyfriend at the time. He's now my husband, so you know how it ended. I had a new job. The job was 100% remote, so I didn't have any friends in the city. I was really, really alone, right? And so all of the things I just mentioned were all very, very good things, but I was feeling very anxious, very kind of wobbly. I didn't feel very grounded at all. And I kept looking for information, blogs, podcasts, any kind of videos to kind of help me understand what it was that I was going through. And I couldn't find it, right? And I just felt really isolated and really alone and kind of guilty for feeling all these feelings for things that were so good in my life, right? And so the thought came to me, okay, if I can't find it, maybe I'm supposed to be it, right? So from 2017 to 2023, I took notes. I researched. I talked to people. I listened to all the podcasts. Y'all, it didn't take me 6 years. It didn't take me 6 years to hit go. You know why it took so long? I was afraid. I was worried about what people were going to think of me. I wanted to come out of the gate with the perfect podcast that 1 million people were going to subscribe to immediately, right? And none of those things were realistic. I legit let perfectionism get in the way of launching something that probably would have been really helpful to other people in 2017. And even when I think about myself, right? If I had launched in 2017, where would this podcast be now, right? Now, so I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of coulda, woulda, shoulda. That's not what I'm trying to do here. What I am trying to paint the picture of is sometimes we are the people to get in our own way. We are the biggest obstacle. It's not other people. It's us, right? Because we tell ourselves these stories that simply aren't true, but that we have convinced ourselves that are actually true because we're listening to the fear. We're listening to the perfectionism. But you know what that experience did teach me? Because there's always a lesson to be learned, right? What it taught me is that you never really feel quite ready. Since that time, there have been so many things that I've wanted to do and I felt scared to do. And what the progress is that none of those things have taken me 6 years, thank God, right? Maybe it's not, I have the idea and I execute the next day, but it doesn't take me as long, because what the confidence builder is execution. Once you start doing things more and more, you build confidence and you realize you can really do, and I know this sounds cliche, but you really can do anything that you put your mind to. And the fact of the matter is you're going to put something out that is probably going to be a little cringy. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to look funky, but it's done. So now you have something that you can improve upon time over time, right? Over time, you can start to improve that thing, but nothing is ever going to be nothing is ever going to be perfect outside of your brain as it is inside your brain. And we get to planning and systematizing and structuring and strategizing, and none of that shit matters if it's not out in the world. So I want to ask us to challenge ourselves a little bit, right? The thoughts come into our head that says, what if I fail? What if this is cringy? What if everybody hates it? But what if we flip that, right? What if we learn to ask questions in a different way? What if I win? What if everybody loves it? What if this is the best thing to ever be, on the airwaves, on the internet, on YouTube, whatever the case may be, whatever it is that we're trying to do? What if we challenged ourselves and flipped it, and instead of assuming the worst, assume the very best, right? So here's my question to you today. What would you do today, this week, if you knew that you're never, ever really going to feel ready? What would you do? Let me know. Send me an email at blackgirlsbonding@gmail.com, DM me at Instagram, or include your comments below on YouTube. All right, y'all. I want to spend some time talking a little bit about pop culture, and here's why I'm excited. And I'm looking at my friend Kiana, who's recording me in this room now, because she knows what I want to talk about. Okay, you guys. It's been a few weeks now at this point, but did y'all see the interview with Oprah and Keke Palmer? Oh my God. Like I said, it's been weeks and I'm still thinking about it. And I won't lie to you, I've probably listened to it at this point twice. By the time this comes out, probably 3 times. Okay. It was that impactful to me. And I have to say I'm incredibly biased because I'm an Oprah fan. I've been an Oprah fan for a very long time, since, I was a kid, looking at it after school. Like, I just think she is so magnificent in so many ways. But this interaction between her and Keke was gold. And I've seen Oprah interview a bunch of people. I've seen Oprah be interviewed by a bunch of people. But there was something about this connection, like the intergenerational piece, the Black woman to Black woman piece, the entertainer to entertainer. It was just chef's kiss. But there are a couple of things that I got from that I just want to share with you. I want to encourage you. I'll include a link to the interview in the show notes. But the things that I took away from it, I hope that will resonate with you guys as well. Okay. So Oprah talked a lot about co-creating with the universe and with God. And maybe I'm slow, or maybe I've lived under a rock, but I had never really seen it as co-creation, right? I almost looked at it as like, God says the thing, you're obedient, you go do the thing, and that's the end of the story, right? But of course he doesn't work that way. Of course he plants desires in our heart, goals, in our spirit. And that's the co-creation part, right? Like, he plants these things so that we can go and live the life that he has designed for us. And when she said co-create, I don't know, it unlocked something in me. It made me realize that we're far more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. And I think that can go both ways, right? Meaning that we can shoot for the stars, right? We can achieve the things that we want to, but at the same time, we have to take accountability when we make mistakes, when we don't quite hit the mark, right? And it doesn't mean that it's over. It just means we have to take responsibility and correct it and do better. But the co-creation really stood out to me, and that's something that I can't stop thinking about. So that's one. The other thing that she talked about was she talked about how much she loves hiking. And she likes it for the physical impacts, but she also talked about the metaphorical importance. And this really stuck with me because she said she very rarely looks at the top of the mountain, that instead she likes to look behind her to realize or to have a visual of how far she's come. And that impacted me so much, you guys, because very rarely do I take the time to look behind me. I'm constantly looking at how far I have to go, right? Even with something so simple. I noticed myself doing it today. I was reading a book and I'm probably like a quarter or a third of the way through. And I'm like flipping through to see like, okay, how many pages at the end? How much more do I have to go? And this is a book. This is something I enjoy doing. I like to read, okay? But I'm still like, looking at my accomplishment and kind of not quite beating myself up, but like, oh, you still have so much to go. You got to keep going. You have so much further to go. But like, if Oprah motherfucking Winfrey can take, I might have done that on purpose. Okay. If she can take a look back and see how far she's come, then I can do that too, right? I can take a moment to look at progress instead of just constantly being focused on the endpoint. So there were so many more gems. I could have a whole episode on just what I took from that Oprah and Keke interview, but I just wanted to share a couple of the things that I got. So if y'all have had a chance to watch it, which I cannot stress enough to you, please, please, please go watch it. I want you to include in the comments, or again, shoot me an email or DM about what you got from it. All right. All right. That's all I have for y'all today. I am so excited again to be with you, and I will see y'all in a couple of weeks. Bye.